Hi guys, welcome to your Week 12 U.S. History launch, and this is the second week that we're going to talk about our U.S. expansion essay. So for your pace chart, remember it can be found in Google Classroom. I hope that you've at least saved it or printed it at this point, but we are entering week 12, which runs from November 7th to Tuesday, November 13th. So at this point, you should have tried to complete everything above this green line here. So the first two projects, the Revolutionary America and the U.S. Constitution Project, are now past due. What I recommend is if you're somebody who has not yet finished one or both of those, put the brakes on that and just pick up with us with the U.S. expansion essay so that this project makes sense. Then when you have extra time, you go back and you do the other ones. But it's really important to try to work with me right now so that these ones make sense, and then do the others on your own time. I want to present to you another Power Focus Area Challenge. This is going to be starting today, and it's going to run through December 20th. So this is the day before Christmas break starts. What we're going to do, it's a grade level contest. For those of you who were involved last year, it's going to be very similar. Our goal this year, though, is not to see the total done. It's we want to have as many learners as possible on pace or only one focus area behind. So that blue line that comes down through your class, you should make it your aim to have everything to the left of the blue line, all of those focus areas turned green or only one away by December 20th. And then whichever grade does that will end up winning. So do your part to help your team. If being part of a team doesn't really do it for you, there will be rewards. So it's still something worth it. The project that we're currently working on is the U.S. expansion essay. Remember that the essential questions, what we're doing is what motivated U.S. expansion in the early 1800s and what were the results of that expansion and was it really worth it? So that second question is what we're going to be focusing on moving forward. What happened because of expansion? Who was affected? And do we think it was worth it? Your final product is going to be an essay or a slideshow. And then again, the focus areas that you should aim to do are the foreign policy in the early republic and the early 1800s in the West. Checkpoint 2 is the results of expansion. The document will look like this, and you're answering the question, what were the effects of U.S. expansion? You want to make sure that you're writing a paragraph in response to that question. And your paragraph should include the following. You want to have a clear topic sentence that responds to the historical question, and that's going to be your claim. Then you want to make sure you have at least 2 quotes from the document sets. So when we refer to the document sets, that is plural for this one. There's going to be a whole bunch of them. So there's the Lewis and Clark document set, the Native Americans document set, and the Annexation of Texas document set. I recommend at least reading maybe two sources from each one so you get a more well-rounded picture. You don't have to read every single one. There are a lot. But definitely focus on, I encourage you to please include the Native Americans document set in your research because you have to understand the importance of what happened to the Native Americans as a result of our expansion. It's a big part of American history that we sometimes ignore. Make sure that you are putting both quotes smoothly presented and integrated into your paragraph, and then conclude your paragraph with an explanation of how the sources are similar and different. So we are being graded on integration of evidence in this one. And what I want you to do is that means don't just put random quotes. So for example, don't just in the middle say, Columbus was mean to the Native Americans. Columbus treated the natives in a violent manner. Because you're not really forming the evidence. You're just kind of putting a random quote and you're not explaining anything. So that's not really a good way to integrate evidence, and it wouldn't get a high score for that. What you should do is include an introduction. So for example, Columbus was mean to the Native Americans. According to a letter from Columbus to the king, he said, quote, I have taken possession of the natives by any means necessary, end quote. This supports my claim because it shows that Columbus did not use nice tactics to get the natives' support. So you can see in the second example how much better integrated that evidence is. It makes a lot more sense, it makes for better reading, and it does a better job explaining that evidence of how it supports my claim. So again, not just random quotes, make sure you're introducing and kind of wrapping that with your own words. Remember that there is no school on Monday, November 12th. Your classes will be open, but your staff is not going to be around to be approving those approving content assessments and things like that. But you're welcome to be working on projects and checkpoints and studying. Again, the reason we do not have school is for Veterans Day. Veterans Day is typically November 11th, but it's observed on November 12th because it's over the weekend. What Veterans Day does is it commemorates the anniversary of the end of World War I, and it honors all United States veterans and victims of all wars. So make sure that you keep that in mind on Monday when you're off, but remember that to do for Tuesday the 13th, you should attempt the Foreign Policy in the Early Republic content assessment and submit checkpoint 1 and 2 of the U.S. expansion project.